What's going on, guys? It's Luke here for SimBoxx, and this is my prediction for this weekend's clash between Tank Gervonta Davis against Hector Luis Garcia. Tank versus Garcia. It has the tagline, but it's not the Garcia we thought and maybe hoped for in terms of Ryan Garcia, that super fight with Tank Davis. We thought we was getting that in early 2023. It might be later on in the year if Tank this Saturday can overcome the obstacle that is Hector Luis Garcia. Hector Luis Garcia, 31-year-old Dominican. He's got a record of 16-0 with 10 stoppages, with a fantastic amateur background with over 400 amateur fights. He was an Olympian, and he's somewhat of an unknown quantity. He burst onto the scene in 2022. He scored a super featherweight victory over Chris Colbert, who was a very highly touted prospect, and Hector Luis Garcia dealt with him in emphatic fashion. He then picked up a regular WBA super featherweight title in his next fight, which was last August, when he beat Gutierrez by unanimous decision. So that's 2 fights in 2022 for Hector Luis Garcia and 2 career best victories. He's looked very good in both of those wins, and he rightly gets to challenge Gervonta Tank Davis now. But up at lightweight, Tank Davis, we know, pay-per-view star, huge name in America, pound for pound, one of the most exciting fighters on the planet, and he's got a huge following. He's a huge pay-per-view star, and this is another one of those fights where it's not against a Ryan Garcia, it's not against a Teofimo Lopez or a Devin Haney, but this is a real test for Tank. He's 28 years of age now. He comes into this with a record of 27 wins, 25 knockouts. In his most recent fight, he knocked out Rolando Romero, another highlight reel knockout with that left hand of his that carries absolute dynamite. The fight before that, he went the full distance with Isaac Pitbull Cruz, only the second time in his career that he's went the full distance. And he also defeated Mario Barrios up at 140 pounds, around there. And then Mario Barrios went up to 147 pounds and give Keith Thurman a real fight. So Tank Davis, while not taking on these household names, if you like, these crossover kind of fights, the mega fights, he is taking on tests, and he's passing every test. He's undefeated, and I think he'll come up against a real test on Saturday night as well in Hector Luis Garcia. I think Hector Luis Garcia's style, he's got the boxing fundamentals, a very good boxer, and I think he'll pose problems for Tank Davis early on with his footwork and his hand speed. But I think Tank Davis, being naturally the bigger man, even though he's come up through the weights like Hector Garcia is doing, I think Tank is thick as set, he's heavy as set. He's a shorter man, but he's thick. He's got thick thighs, he's got thick calves, and that's where the power comes from. Of course, with Tank Davis, very explosive, and I do believe that he might be down a few rounds early on, that he'll figure out Hector Luis Garcia over the first 3, 4, 5 rounds. But then I believe the power will take over. I think he'll land something heavy. He'll land something significant as we roll into the 6th and 7th round. And ultimately, I believe Hector Luis Garcia will be stopped in 8 rounds whilst ahead on the cards. And maybe it'll be a referee stoppage or the towel coming in from the corner and saving him for more punishment. I think he could go down a couple of times, but he's got a strong heart, he's got a strong will. And I can see him getting up and recovering, but ultimately being stopped in round 8. Guys, as always, let me know your prediction in the comments below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on the SimBoxx YouTube channel, and check us out on Instagram and Twitter, at SimBoxx1 on Twitter, at Sim_box on Instagram, and I'll catch you on the next prediction.